We're gonna have the stand-up comedy of, it's not John Chappell, right?
Chappell.
Chappell, okay. Not John Chappell. Or it is John Chappell, not. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot, I admit that. So, I was born that way. Love everybody. Alright, I'm trying still. John Chappell. We also got the amazing food of Kimmy V, so make sure you check that out. Alright, John, the mic is clean, the stage is yours.
These are my favorite type of comedy shows, the intimate ones with 3 people. How you doing tonight, Jason? So I'm from England. Most people don't know this unless I show them my green card or my teeth. And being from England, I did an ancestry DNA test recently. Found out that I'm actually 5% Chinese, 5% Nigerian, and 90% sweatshop owner. Yeah. Being 5% Nigerian, I haven't been able to burn through all that cash I made in the email scams yet. And that 10% actually comes from my dad, which makes sense, because that's about the same amount of time he was in my life. And being from England, you know, you got to get used to the rain. It rains over there all the time. And like, I love the rain. My favorite things to do in the rain is just put my head back and let it hit me in the face. Love to jump in the puddles and then watch the cars try to avoid me. When I moved, we came from Montana. So I went from London, England to Great Falls, Montana, which was a culture shock. It was like putting Grey Poupon on a peanut butter and jelly. Or going to see the Beatles and getting the Dixie Chicks. So when we moved, my dad was like, "Hey John, you're in America now, you gotta learn baseball." And I was like, okay. So he takes me in the yard to teach me to play catch, and I couldn't catch a lick. So it was pretty much target practice for him. And I got better at being a target. And eventually I made a team. It was one of those teams that everybody's on. I mean, I got picked last, but I still made it. And about halfway through the season, the coach comes up to me and says, "John, you've been doing better. I want to get you some more playing time." And I was like, "I'm going to get to play? Hell yeah." He handed me a jersey. He said the other team showed up with 8. I wasn't very good at sports, so when I started high school, I decided I would just date cheerleaders. And I had this one girlfriend that was a cheerleader. She wasn't just any cheerleader, though. She was the base of the pyramid. There was like nobody else. She was the whole base. She was more than a girlfriend to me. She was like 4 girlfriends. I think it was because she ate from the top of the food pyramid. Yeah. But one thing I miss about England is the desserts. They have some phenomenal desserts in England. Like they've got the trifles, the jam roly-polies, but by far my favorite is the spotted dick. And if you don't think that spotted dick is a real dessert, I need you to go to Kroger, go to the international food aisle and ask for Keith. And just walk in and go, "Hey Keith, you got that spotted dick?" He'll take care of you. Just don't ask Jeff, because Jeff only knows where the speckled taint is. But they also have some different vocabulary in England. Like they have, they call an eraser a rubber, which makes sense. You use a rubber, it erases the possibility of kids. And they call a sweater a jumper. And over here, a jumper is just suicidal. You just got to take the elevator all the way up to be effective. Yeah, I actually had to talk Jumper down not too long ago. I was like, "Do it." Kind of felt bad afterwards though, because he leaned over. He was like, "What?" And then he fell. I was like, problem solved. But they also have the equivalent of our dollar store over there. It's just really awkward to ask somebody to go with you, because I was talking to my sister. I was like, "Hey, sis, do you want to go to Pound Town?" Yeah, I don't know what was more awkward, the fact that she said yes or ran and put a dress and makeup on. But I took her to Pound Town because She needed a pregnancy test and I needed some erasers. So I'm married now. I've been married for almost 20 years. Anybody else married out there? No? There's one. What? Not married. No, nobody's married. I bet you they are. They're just not listening. Are you guys married back there? Yeah. I've been married for 20 years and recently found out my wife cheated on me. But I forgave her because it was before we met, so. But my wife is one of those talkers, and when I say talker, I mean like when you're watching a movie and you've never seen it, she's never seen it. And about halfway through, she looks at you and goes, "Oh my God, what happens next?" Like, I don't know. I've seen the same thing you've seen, right? And she's like, "But you have to know." And she just keeps on and on. I don't know. That's a new bit I'm going to be working on, so we'll figure that one out, you know? But I have always been known as the backup. Like in high school, I was, like I said, I wasn't very athletic. I was the backup quarterback. I was the backup catcher. The backup husband, being my wife's second. But when we got married, we decided to elope. Yeah, we went to Nebraska because we wanted a destination wedding. But her friend decided to come with us because she was getting married too, and they also wanted to elope. So we go out and we stay in the hotel. The next morning we go to the chapel, and the ladies were like, "Oh, we want to stay here and we don't want you to see us in our dresses." So me and the other girl's fiance go on to the chapel. We walk in, I see the lady behind the counter, and I'm like, "Hey, we're here to get married." And she was like, "We don't do that here." Granted, it was 20 years ago. They probably do it now. When we got married, we decided that the word divorce would not be in our vocabulary. That's one of the reasons it's lasted almost 20 years. She didn't say anything about adding balls to my chain, so I'm trying to convince her to move to Utah. Yeah, no, get it, don't get it. You know, polygamy in Utah is okay. So she told me not too long ago that I needed to step up my game in the bedroom, so that's where I put my PlayStation. And we have like a don't ask, don't tell kind of marriage. It's like she doesn't ask me to do anything and I don't tell her what to do. Works out pretty well. When we first started having kids, which was years ago, she was like, "We got kids now, I want a minivan." And I was 19 when I had my first kid. I'm like, I am not driving a minivan at 19 years old. It's not happening. I lost that argument. So we ended up getting a silver Loser Cruiser. And there was one day we were going to the grocery store. So she pulls up and I jump out. It's raining buckets. I go in the store, get everything I need, and I come out. And she's parked right there in the front. So I hop in, start talking to her, and I look over and I realize that is not my wife. I got in the wrong car. She's just sitting there laughing at me in the parking lot watching everything happen. But the only reason I let her get that minivan is because she let me nickname it. So I called it the bandwagon, so all my buddies could jump on. I recently had a dog that committed suicide. It suffocated itself in a bag of chips. Got you on that one, look at that. The worst part is he didn't even leave a note. We got a new dog now, we named it Ruffles. And I guess I should have seen it coming. I mean, the old dog kept cutting himself, but he kept blaming it on the cat. And I don't even have a cat. And I would always catch him with his head in the toilet. And I thought he was just thirsty. But apparently he was just depressed. With Ruffles, I found out the other day my wife has started drugging Ruffles. Like, he's one of these really active dogs that is non-stop. He's still a puppy. And he drools all over the bedroom at night and everything, so she figured out that if she gives him melatonin every night, It puts him to sleep like a baby. When I found that out, I started putting melatonin in her drinks every night too. So I was talking about elevators earlier. Have you guys ever seen the sign for an elevator? Yeah? Now there's a few, but the one I'm talking about is the one, it looks like 3 dudes laying on a mattress. Now, I'm not gay, but I always take the elevator just in case I change my mind. So I told you I had some kids. I've got 3 daughters. 2 are actually in college. I know, I don't look old enough. And then I have a 9-year-old. And my wife made sloppy joes for dinner the other night. And my 9-year-old was like, "What is this?" And my 18-year-old looks at it and she goes, "It's sloppy joes." And she goes, "Why have we never had it before?" I said, "Because that's broke people food." She was like, "Girl, you're never gonna know the struggle." See, my older 2, we didn't have money at all back then. Back then we were eating like ramen noodles with hot dogs cut up. Then you throw some Heinz 57 sauce on it to make it taste like steak. And we were having the wonderful hamburger helper and the tuna helper. Have you guys had that? It's just nastiness. They say everybody has to have a college degree these days, right? Everybody have a college degree out here? Anybody? Yeah. So, yeah, it hasn't done anything for me because I don't have one either. But I recently had to drop my daughter off at college. She decided to go to school out in Arkansas. And I had to drive her all the way out there, and I realized how much I hate driving in the country. Because everything moves at the speed of tractor. When we got out there, I dropped her off to Harding University, and I realized that they have Harding Academy on their campus, which is kindergarten through 12th grade. And then they also have Harding Place on campus, which is a retirement home. So it's pretty much a kindergarten to casket community. You can live your whole lifespan in 1 square mile, diaper to diaper. Start by not knowing anything, finish by not remembering. I figure you probably get some accolades through your lifetime, right? Like in elementary school, you get the Presidential Fitness Award. You end up getting your high school diploma and college degree, and at the end, you get a certificate of completion for finishing your meals. So I don't know if you guys can tell, I don't really have a lazy eye. It's more of a lazy body. Yeah, I don't like to do too much of anything, actually. I like to stand on stage and do comedy. You know, in England they have royalty, and I realize living in the South they have some Southern royalty. Like in England they have Princess Diana. Over here they have Dale Earnhardt. Both died in car wrecks. I went to the doctor the other day, and he asked me if I drink. I was like, yeah, pretty much every day. He's like, well, you've got some problems, and I think it's because of the drinking. I was like, I've been drinking my whole life, and it's never been a problem before. I don't know why it's starting out. Did you guys get haircuts during quarantine at all, or you guys just let it all grow out? So right after all of the barbershops and everything opened back up, I went to Great Clips. Or no, I'm sorry, Sport Clips. And you know, they had HGTV on the TV. And I was like, you know, I know there's no live sports going on, but can we at least like put some replays on or something? And they were like, well, there's just really nothing, so all right then, let's just watch Lifetime. I heard Rachel Ray's coming on. All right, well, I think that's about all I got for you. I appreciate y'all. I'm John Chappell. You can follow me on John Chappell Comedy on Instagram.
Alright, everybody, it's John Chappell. Let's give him a nice round of applause. Alrighty,